On a sunny Super Sunday here in Clearwater, Florida, we bid you greetings from the 80 Seymour Softball Complex, where Iowa softball is on the air, coast to coast and around the world on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I'm Victor Anderson, glad that you're with us once again here on field number 2 as the Hawkeyes, after a Saturday split, look to finish their first week in the Sunshine State on a victorious note. Also take on the number 13 ranked team and Women's College World Series participant from a year ago, the Utah Utes. Both teams coming in with a record of 3-1 on the season. Both teams had very interesting results so far in their trip to Clearwater. Iowa split their games yesterday, had a tough loss last night versus Notre Dame, 5-4. But the Hawkeyes very confident, very optimistic about how they would handle things this morning in Clearwater. We got a very busy day of action for you on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Of course, softball, that'll be starting in just a few moments. Women's basketball will be tipping off against Nebraska. That'll be taking place at 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. local time. And then you got the men's basketball team. They'll be hosting Minnesota over at Carver Hawkeye Arena. So a full day of action for you, and we'll get things started in just a few moments for Iowa and Utah. The lineup for the Hawkeyes, for the head Hawkeye herself, Coach Renee Gillespie, Grace Baines, Tori Bennett, Suchin Berry, the top third of the order. Big afternoon for Suchin yesterday with the bat hitting at 3 spot. Klosterman, Bowman, Jenna Young, 4, 5, and 6. Sammy Diaz, Skyline Frog, and Riley Moss, 7, 8, and 9. Jalen Adams will get the ball for the Hawkeyes this Sunday morning. Jalen looking to go to 2 and who could pick up her second win on the season. Got the Hawkeyes in the win column with her masterful shutout versus NC State on Friday afternoon. The Hawkeyes will be wearing the gray uniforms, the block Iowa with the gold and the white trim. They'll be in the first base dugout to our right. They'll be the designated visiting team. Utah will be in the black uniforms with the red tops on the shoulders with the black pants and the red on the side. They'll be the home team, the third base dugout over to our left. And this Hawkeye lineup will have their work cut out for them. So take on the All-American left-hander Mariah Lopez. Lopez, 23 wins last season. Off to a rocky start so far in 2024. Got tagged for 15 hits and 10 innings of work so far in the circle. Has a 3.60 ERA for the all-preseason Pac-12 selection. Marks the 8th time that these two programs have met. The first time they will be meeting since 2005 on St. Patrick's Day, a 13-7 victory for the black and gold versus Utah. Utah leads the all-time series 4-3. First meeting goes back to 1982. And the Utes will take the field defensively. We will get things rolling in a couple of moments. A lovely day for softball here at Clearwater, Florida. Perfect softball weather, as a SID correctly and astutely pointed out prior to us getting things started on this Sunday morning. It'll be fascinating to see how the Hawkeyes handle the hard-throwing lefty Mariah Lopez, and has done phenomenal work under the tutelage of assistant coach Paige Parker, who knows her a thing or two about wearing the number 8 and being dominant in the circle. Won back-to-back national championships at Oklahoma under Coach Patty Gasso. Has turned into one of the top pitching coaches in college softball. Amy Hogue in her 60th season at the helm of her alma mater. Led the Utes back to the World Series for the first time since 1994. Coach Gillespie looking to lead Team 46 back to Oklahoma City for the first time in nearly 2 decades. Set to get things started on this Sunday morning. Glad that you're with us on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Victor Anderson with you on this Super Sunday of action, triple header of action on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And softball will lead things off, and Grace Baines will lead things off for the black and gold. First pitch by Lopez is called a strike, and we're on the way. Grace this season 4 of 12. Has a run driven in. The top of the order for the Hawkeyes have been phenomenal so far this season. Baines, Bennett, and Berry. Grace behind 0-2. Slow roller back to short. Davidson there makes the flip over to Ortiz for out number 1. Defensively for Utah, Haley Denning in left, Abby Dayton in center, Leilani Melendez in right, Shelby Ortiz at first, Aaliyah Velarde at second, Carly Davison at short, Julia Jimenez at third, Kendall Lundberg behind the plate doing the catching for Lopez. And TV1 takes that outside, ball 1. Torrey 2 for 10 this season, has scored 4 times, which is tops among the Hawkeyes in his first week of the season. Just misses on the outside half. It's count 2 balls and no strikes. One out here at the top of the first on the way here from Clearwater. And then it gets the strike, it's 2-1. Hawkeyes with the gray uniforms with the white pants, the visiting team. And the first base dugout to the right from our broadcast position. Utah, the home team, wearing black uniforms. Utah in red with the white trim. And Lopez evens up the count 2-2. Utah, the reigning Pac-12 tournament champions. A banner year in 2023. Reference their first trip to Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series since 1994. 2-2. Bennett cannot lay off the rise ball. She strikes out. So 2 outs for the Hawkeyes in the first. It'll bring up the rookie third baseman, Sujin Berry. Sujin has had a great start to her Hawkeye career. 6 for 13, 3 runs scored, 5 RBIs. Had a great 2 games yesterday versus NC Central and Notre Dame. 5'9" freshman out of Pittsburgh, California, where she was a 2-time All-State selection. Fouls on one off behind the netting to the Utah side of the stands. Makes the count 0-2. Go to Berry, times that breaking ball and just gets the barrel to travel through. Utah, their lone loss, a nail-biter 4-3 versus Missouri without a tying and winning runs on base on Friday night. Of course, the Hawkeyes, their lone loss, a tough one last night versus Notre Dame. Berry gets one blown by her by Mariah Lopez. Lopez picks up 2 strikeouts to start us off things for the Utes. Utah will have their first swings in the bottom of the first, and here's the lineup penned out by the head coach of the Utes, Amy Hogue, in her 16th season coaching her alma mater. Was a part of that team that prior to last year made it to the World Series last in 1994. It'll be Haley Denning leading off, playing left field. Leah Bellardi batting second, playing second. Julia Jimenez batting third, playing the hot corner. Kayla Nielsen, she'll be the DP. She'll back cleanup. Carly Davison will be at shortstop, hitting in the number 5 hole. Abby Dayton will be at center field in the 6th spot. Leilani Melendez will be in right field, hitting 7th. Kendall Lundberg will catch and hit 8th. And Shelby Ortiz will number 4. She'll play first and hit 9th. Defensively for the Hawkeyes, the 7 behind the circle has been the same for the first 4 games, now 5 games of the season. Riley Klosterman in left, Grace Baines in center, Riley Moss in right, Sammy Diaz over at first, with Tori Bennett at second and the rookie left side of the infield, and Jenna Young at short, Sujin Berry at third. Sutton Vogue will once again do the catching behind the plate, and Jalen Adams will get the ball in the circle for the Hawkeyes. Jalen, a 1.17 ERA. She's making her third appearance on the season and her third start. She's pitched 12 innings, given up 11 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, walked 4 and struck out 2. Those runs coming last night versus Notre Dame after shutting out North Carolina State to start off the season. So here comes Haley Denning. She's picked up right where she left off last season, where all she did was hit .389 with 33 steals. She's hitting .615 so far, 8 of 13. Lays down a bunt. Berry almost got the glove on it, but just bounced foul. The freshman carried the bulk of the lifting yesterday. The Hawkeyes in their split beat NC North Carolina Central 4-1 for falling to the Fighting Irish. This is up ball 1. Jaylee Ojo and Andrea Jaskowiak combined to pick up the win over the MEAC champions in game 1. Bunt laid down. Adams jumps on it quickly, gets it over to Tori Bennett for out number 1. Great job by Jaylen Adams. Understanding that Denning can lay down that bunt very quickly. And good job by Bennett coming over from her spot at second to cover. So 1 down for Leah Bellardi. Leah hitting .286 in his opening weekend, 4-14 with an RBI. Utes as a team hitting .342. Their opponents have hit .289. This is inside, ball 1. Utes started the season with a 7-2 win over Army West Point. We mentioned a loss to Missouri 4-3, but they had the tying and winning runs in scoring position in the bottom of the 7th. They bounced back yesterday, beat Notre Dame 9-3, shut out North Carolina Central 7-0. Chopper back up the middle. Young, low throw. Diaz had it, but ball popped out of her glove and got the foot off the bag. So Velarde will reach for Utah and bring up Julia Jimenez. Jimenez, 3 for 15, does have 5 RBIs this weekend. Shot first cut right in front of Coach Hogue. They'll charge an air to Young on the throw to first. Hawkeye infield on the left side, Young and Berry. Set to be hallmarks for the black and gold over the next 4 years. Have shown great signs both at the plate and in the field. Swing and a miss. Makes the count 1-2. The Utes already this season 18 stolen bases as a team. Velarde is successful her lone attempt. Ball now will go this time behind Coach Amy Hogue. Has to retreat from her perch behind the third base box. That Notre Dame game Utah played yesterday was aired on the MLB Network. The first time ever a softball game was aired live on MLB Network. High fly That will be with room. Klosterman makes the catch, 2 down. If you're an outfielder, particularly on field number 2, you will have you will have real estate to work with these spacious foul grounds. Won't likely say the same thing next weekend when the Hawkeyes travel to Leesburg for the spring games. Nielsen gets that past Sammy Diaz. It'll be 1st and 3rd for the Hawkeyes. 1st and 3rd for the Utes after Nielsen's single. Pass of diving Sammy Diaz. Davidson now to the plate. Two outs and Utes on the corners. And our umpire having a conversation with Utah head coach Amy Hogue. Was inducted recently to the Utah Athletics Hall of Fame. Carly has been just a hot of a hitter this opening weekend, as Haley Denny has been for Utah. Davidson hitting an even 600, 6 of 10 with 3 runs driven in. Breaking ball from Adams is low and inside, ball 1. Scoreless, bottom of the 1st. Utes trying to strike first. At 1st and 3rd with 2 away. Adams sends it in. A little bit up in the zone, 2 balls, no strikes. Adams is flourishing under assistant coach Manny Gardner-Colgate. That one will be popped up, and that one will land in the trees on top of the roof and behind some of the Hawkeye faithful behind us to our left. Two balls and a strike. Adams trying to keep the Utes off the scoreboard in the 1st. And we'll do that. Ground ball to Berry to Diaz. And out retires the Utes. So Adams gives up a single and an error, but leaves those runners stranded. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. 2 Utes left on base through an inning. Here in Clearwater, Hawkeyes and Utes scoreless. You're listening to Iowa Softball from Learfield. Top of the 2nd inning here in Clearwater. Hawkeyes and Utes scoreless on a sunny Sunday morning. Here at the NFCA Leadoff Classic, Victor Anderson, glad that you're with us on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Temperature 73 degrees. Can ask for more perfect conditions for softball on this Super Sunday. 4, 5, 6 coming up for the Hawkeyes. Klosterman, Bowman, and Young. Riley with a strong start this year. 4 for 11 for a .364 average and 3 runs driven in, and is greeted with the strike from the lefty Mariah Lopez. This is a stretch where Iowa. It's the 3rd straight game against the team that made the NCAA tournament last year. Some miscommunication between Bilardi and Davison, and that falls in for a leadoff single. for sure was going to be a routine pop-up behind second base, but there was no real communication in the middle of that Utah infield. So Riley with the first Hawkeye hit. Here comes Devin Bowman. First pitch in the air to right field. Melendez there makes the catch for out number 1. Solid contact by Bowman, but flies out to right field for out number 1. Here comes another Hawkeye freshman, Jenna Young. Jenna 4 for 8 in her Hawkeye career so far with 2 RBIs and leads the Hawkeyes with 3 walks. Takes that for a strike. Lefty-lefty matchup in the top of the second. Young wearing number 29 this weekend, as opposed to her customary number 24. Just misses outside. Young, probably one of the, maybe the jewel of this Hawkeye recruiting class. Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year in 2022, where she had 624 with 22 home runs and 55 RBIs. And is ahead against the All-American Mariah Lopez. Top of the second, no score. Jalen Adams pitched out of a first and third jam in the bottom of the first. Riley Klosterman on with the leadoff single. So number back to Jimenez. Gets it there to Ortiz for out number 2. Klosterman now at second. It'll be up to Sammy Diaz. Try and get the Hawkeyes on the board. Sammy 1 for 9. Now 1 was a double. Takes that for strike 1. Sammy last year had a great 2 weeks in Florida with the spring games and the tournament hosted by South Florida. And Diaz falls behind 0-2. Lopez trying to keep us scoreless in the Hawkeye half of the second. Klosterman started the inning with the single. She stands at second. To left, to right. Melendez tracks it in, and that ends the frame. Hawkeyes cannot capitalize after the Klosterman leadoff single. No runs on 1 hit, 1 left on base. We'll head to the home second. Iowa and Utah remain scoreless. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. For us Hawkeye fans, this is the first of 3 big events for Iowa Athletics for you this afternoon. Coming up later on today, Caitlin Clark continues her quest for history as the second-rate Hawkeyes travel to Lincoln for a showdown with the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Join Rob Brooks and Tiff Reedy for the action, starting with pregame coverage at 11:30 a.m. Central Time on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Fans you can access the stream free on YouTube. Download the Varsity Network app or on Sirius, or make sure to visit HawkeyeSports.com for details. And of course, a record-breaking performance at Carver Hawkeye Arena on Thursday night, and that one will slice down the left field line for a leadoff base hit for Abby Dayton. Ties in the second, and Dayton hangs on the edge of the base and has herself a leadoff double. Dawson having to fix her belt buckle after sliding head first in the second. So Dalton's double sets up the table for Leilani Melendez. Melendez 4 for 12 with 4 runs driven in. Melendez with the bunt, bunts it foul right in front of Scarlett Vogue and Sammy Diaz. Utah comes in number 13 in the NFCA poll. Of course, this is the NFCA Leon Classic. That is the lone poll we will recognize. Sacrifice bunt laid down, 3-4. Bennett to Diaz to Bennett. Dayton moves over 60 feet. And brings up the catcher, Kendall Lundberg. Lundberg 3 for 10 in this young season. First pitch is inside, across the knees, ball 1. We're in the bottom of the second. Utah and Iowa scoreless. Utes again with the go-ahead run 60 feet away. And the form of Abby Dayton, who led off the inning with the double. That was fouled off. Skylar right in front of us. Hawkeyes had a early morning at the team hotel. First players started fouling in for breakfast around 6:30 Florida time today. Got themselves ready for this battle versus Utah. Look very sharp so far. Adams gets a swing and miss, makes it 1-2. Shelby Ortiz on deck. That one fouled back. If you're Adams is supporter, you want to keep this game scoreless, and most importantly, don't want to face Haley Denning until the 3rd inning. She is in the hole for Utah after behind Ortiz. Breaking ball, that one will drop right behind second base, and that will get Utah on the board. So Kendall Lundberg got enough of it, got enough on that breaking ball from Jalen Adams, and she gives the Utes a 1-0 lead. Lundberg's 3rd RBI on the season, and here comes Shelby Ortiz. Ortiz inside ball 1. Ortiz making her 3rd start this weekend, 2 for 7 with a run scored and an RBI. Adams finds the target, to level the count 1-1. I don't know if it's a sneaky bunt or try to slap it, but held off and got a piece of it. Nonetheless, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Adams very quick and deliberate in the circle. And another one fouled back by Ortiz, caught off the fence from Skyler doing the catching today. Still 1-2. Adams with the pitch. Little flip and a diving catch by Jenna Young. Almost got the double up from Denning. Almost double up from Lundberg, but a beautiful play. Diving towards the 3rd base side by Jenna Young. And the presence of mind by Jenner to get that ball quickly out to Diaz at first. Almost got the double play, but instead 2 outs. Here comes Denning. Denning first pitch to left. Close to mid, closes in, slides in, gets the catch, and that ends the inning for the Utes. But the Utes get on the board thanks to the Kendall Lundberg RBI single. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, 1 left on base. 2 innings in the books on field 2. Here at Eddie Seymour Field. Utah 1, Iowa nothing. You're listening to Hawkeye softball coast to coast and around the world on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Learfield. Top of the third, we go in Clearwater, Florida at the Eddie Seymour Complex. Victor Anderson back with you. 8-9-1 coming up. Skyland Fogg, Riley Moss, and Grace Baines to up, taking on the All-American Mariah Lopez. Iowa trailing 1-0. Trying to go to 4-1 on the young season and have a top 5 finish here at the NFCA Leadoff Classic. The championship game is actually taking place right now between Clemson and Missouri, the 2 lone undefeated teams still here in Florida. Hopped up, and now we'll end up towards our neighbors from the Hoosier State behind us, who are playing on field number 1 versus North Carolina Central. Scotland 1 of 2. Getting some at bats in the lineup today after being in the flex position on Friday's game versus Western Kentucky. Good location from Lopez. Gets the strike call, 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes. And that one will land towards the palm trees over near field number 1. We're at the top of the third. Utes leading 1-0 thanks to an RBI single by Kendall Lundberg. Skyline lays out the pitch that was rising up in the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And now, oh, you can hear that around the park. That caught her right on the Evo Shield elbow pad on her left arm. And Scotland will take the free base to start the inning. Here comes Riley Moss, who has been probably understated in terms of how well she's played so far this weekend. Moss on the left side swings through 0-1. Moss 4 for 11 this weekend. Multi-hit game in the opener versus NC State. Now throw back over to first, and Scotland dives back in plenty of time. Went 2 for 2 in that game. Actually 2 for 3 in that game. Reached base all 3 times. See, Jimenez wanted to appeal to see if she went around. Jimenez wanted to swing, and Jimenez says, hey, it was worth it. Jimenez playing almost halfway in at third base. And Moss still gets it by her. They get the throw to second base, and Scotland just gets thrown out. That was about a half a step on that throw. Moss with great placement. Scotland gets thrown out on the fielder's choice. 6-4. One away, back to the top of the order, and Grace Baines. Head coach Renee Gillespie not making a fuss over at third base about that last call. Neither did Aaron Dow Johnson over at first. But Johnson had the best angle of the 2 Hawkeye coaches on the field. They'll have timeout called, and they'll bring out a meeting between both pitching coach Paige Parker and Utah head coach Amy Hogue. Paige Parker, of course, we mentioned left-hander. Ironically enough, wore number 8 when she won her national championships with Oklahoma and Pat Gasso in 2016-2017. Kind of the linchpin of the current Sooner dynasty that is taking place, and now applying her knowledge and wisdom to another lefty wearing number 8, Mariah Lopez. Amy Hogue, her 16th season at the helm of this youth program, her alma mater, was a part of that Utah team that made it to the World Series in 1994, the last time the Utes had made it to Oklahoma City before the Utes made it there last year. And she brought in 2 new assistants, Courtney Martinez and Kaya Gibson. Gibson, who coached just 2 hours down from here in 275 and I-4 at UCF for Coach Cindy Ball Malone. Goes outside, and Baines is ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. Hawkeyes not going to be intimidated by any opponents they play this season. Going blow for blow with the number 13 team in the land in the NFCA poll. Goes for a strike, 2-1. This is the 3rd straight team the Hawkeyes have played who made the NCAA tournament. Baines hits that to left center. That's deep. That's back. Caught. Going over the temporary fence was Dayton. She tags up and goes to second as Molly Moss. What a home run robbery by Dayton in center field. And the Hawkeyes still are in search of their first home run of the season. But it does end up being a productive out with Moss advancing to second. 2 outs, here comes Tori Bennett. Bennett to straightaway center. Dayton has to fight the sun, makes the catch with a little less dramatics. And that ends the inning for the Hawkeyes. Iowa again threatens, gets a runner in scoring position, but can't bring them home. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We'll head to the home third. Utah 1, Iowa nothing. You're listening to Hawkeye softball from Learfield. The Hawkeyes will continue their season opening Florida swing next weekend in Leesburg, Florida as part of the spring games. Their first battle will be against Coach Jen Sewell and her Salukis of Southern Illinois, who are making some noise in their opening weekend in San Marcos, Texas. First pitch will be at 1:30 Iowa City time, 2:30 Florida time. And we'll have the coverage for you live here, coast to coast and around the world on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Bottom of the third, Hawkeyes trail 1-0 over the Utes of Utah. Victor Anderson back with you. We're located just behind the lefty box. You see Coach Hyder Gibson running behind us before to get her position behind the first base side. Velarde, Jimenez, Nielsen, 2-3-4, drew up for the Utes. Velarde takes that low, ball one. Reached on a throwing error from Jenna Young in the first, was stranded at third. Jalen Adams to right, goes back, and that's going to be caught, and going through the fence is Riley Moss. How about Riley Moss coming through and making a catch going over the temporary fence and right for out number one. For a second, it looked like that ball was going to sail out of here, but Riley made the catch with about 2 feet to spare and then went over the temporary fencing and field two. Goal for Jimenez for ball one. The Hawkeye defense has kept them in it. Jenna Young with a diving play in the second inning, and just now Moss with a home run robbery in the third. Goes outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Jimenez fouled out to Klosterman back in the first. Utah team that is. This is Joel outside, 3-0. Hawkeye faithful thought that one might have been, it should have been called a strike. Said it's 3 balls and no strikes. Makes a strike, makes it 3-1. Utah picked to finish second in the Pac-12 behind Stanford. And that's ball 4 for Jimenez. First walk issued this morning by Jalen Adams. There goes Kayla Nielsen. Nelson single past Sammy Diaz in that first inning. First pitch to left sinks in, but caught by Briley, who came charging in. 2 down. Jimenez has to retreat back to first. Riley Davidson now to the plate. First pitch popped up. Scarlett had to read the ball and avoid her catcher's mask in the process, but she gets the catch, and that is the frame for Utah. So Utah gets a 1-out walk on Adams, but Jalen holds him at the pass. 3 innings in the books here in Clearwater, Florida. Hawkeyes hanging tough against the number 13 team in the nation. Utah still leads 1-0. You're listening to Hawkeye softball from Learfield. Top of the fourth inning. Hawkeyes trailing 1-0. One of the hottest bats this weekend will lead things off. That's the form of the freshman, Sujin Berry. Should be followed by Bradley Klosterman and Devin Bowman, as they will take on Mariah Lopez, their second time through the order. Victor Anderson back with you. Field number 2 here at the Eddie C. Moore Complex. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for the Utes. They've left 4. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Hawkeyes. They have stranded 2. And Berry falls behind 0-1. Hawkeyes in the gray. Hawkeyes with the gray tops to block Iowa in gold, trimmed with white with the white pants. Utah, the black uniforms with the red on the top and on the side. Hawkeyes the visiting team today, and that one is a foul ball. And Berry's behind 0-2. Coach Gillespie, when I talked to her during the offseason, was looking forward to seeing this freshman class in action, and Sujin was one of the names that she brought up to me in our conversation. And we've seen why that she felt as confident as she did. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Very good, a good cut, fouls that one straight back. Here, one of the game changer crew over to our left. Both teams 3-1 on the year. Each their losses came by 1 run. And another one fouled off by Berry. Hawkeye split last night's action, beat North Carolina Central 4-1. Came within 2 outs of recording the 3rd straight shutout to start the season, which would have been the 2nd time that has happened in program history. Started 3-0 with 3 consecutive shutouts. But the Eagles got a double in the 7th to break up the shutout. Berry goes down on strikes, goes down swinging for the second at bat. Lopez with 3 Ks, 2 of them against the freshman. Here comes Bradley Klosterman to the plate. Bradley had a leadoff single to start the 2nd. Lopez with the first pitch. Goes outside, ball 1. Defensive lead for the Utes. Denning, Dayton, Melendez, the outfield from left to right. Jimenez, Davidson, Velarde, Ortiz, the infield from 3rd to 1st. Lundberg doing the catching for the All-American Mariah Lopez. Foul tip for Lundberg, 1-1. Both teams looking to improve to 4-1 on this young season. Utah looking to get that win before they head over to Mexico for the Puerto Vallarta Challenge, as will be session 2 that will be starting on Thursday when they take on the Auburn Tigers. Tigers in a bit of controversy after they ended up being tied with Virginia Tech. Auburn actually trailed that game 9-5 in the top of the 7th, but Mother Nature canceled the game, so the game reverted back to the result of the last completed inning. 1-2. And down goes Briley swinging. 4th strikeout for Lopez. 2 down, here comes Devin Bowman. That one's shot. That's a foul. Or as who can forget Devin's heroics, her first at bat, pinch hit, 2 on in the 6th, sliced a single down the left field line to score 2 to get the Hawkeyes the 2-0 lead and subsequent win in the season opener versus NC State. Bowman's behind 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Just misses away, 1-2. Utes lead 1-0. We're in the top of the 4th. Final day of action in the NFCA Leadoff Classic in Clearwater, Florida. Lopez rocks, reels. Whoa, a nice stop behind the plate by Lundberg. Makes the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lopez looks at the pitch card on the right arm, gets the signal and pitches. Devin fouls that one back again. And we will have another offering with the 2-2. Up high, good eye by Bowman, and has worked the count full, 3-2. Jenna Young would hit next. If her fellow rookie can extend his 4th. Bowman gets in front of that to center. Dayton's there, and that retires the Hawkeyes in order. So a 1-2-3 frame for Mariah Lopez. She has 4 strikeouts through 4 innings. We'll head to the home 4th. And this is still a 1-0 lead for the Utes. You're listening to Hawkeye Softball from Learfield. Back in Clearwater, we go into the bottom of inning number 4. Iowa trailing 1-0. It'll be Abby Dayton, Leilani Melendez, and Kendall Lundberg. 6, 7, 8 for the Utes, due up. So they take on Jalen Adams. This is up high, ball 1. Victor Anderson back with you. We're on field number 2. Here at the Eddie Seymour Complex, field 1 going on to our left with fellow Big Ten foe Indiana. We'll give you a look at the Big Ten scoreboard during this inning. Dayton slices that to left. That will fall down and take an awkward hop in front of Riley Klosterman. And Dayton has her second base hit in as many at-bats this morning. Had a double to lead off the second and scored on the Lundberg single. And starts off the 4th with the base hit. Here comes Leilani Melendez. Had a sacrifice back in that second inning. And that one goes foul. Sammy had to hold up for a second to make sure that ball was going to bounce in foul ground. We'll give you that Big Ten scoreboard update after this at-bat with Melendez. Shows bunt again. That one again bounces foul. It's now 0-2. Got Lundberg on deck and then Shelby Ortiz behind her. Jalen Adams has only allowed 4 base hits, 2 of them to the woman that's standing at first in Abby Dayton. Melendez fouls down one back, and his count stays 0-2. 1-0 Utes, bottom of the 4th. Utah trying to go to 4-1 on this young season. Same with the Hawkeyes. Outside for ball 1. That's it strongly to left center. It'll be 1st and 3rd and no out for the Utes. So Melendez with 2 strikes. Found one she can drive. And the Utes are in business. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Here comes Kendall Lundberg. Lundberg responsible for the lone Utes run, and RBI single back in the 2nd. First pitch that hits off the top of the screen, falls down inside and now outside of the Hawkeye dugout on the first base side. Adams pitched out of a 1st and 3rd situation in the 1st, but that was with 2 outs. Has to do the same here again, but has to pick up 3 straight outs to keep the Hawkeyes in distance. And it's got to do so 1 pitch at a time. Gets a swing and miss, and it's ahead 0-2. Adams sends, swing and a miss. Adams with a great time for her first strikeout of the morning. Gets Lundberg to fish in front of one outside. 1 down, and here comes Shelby Ortiz. Ortiz got robbed on a hit of a diving catch by Jenna Young in the 2nd. Pops at front of that foul. You got Haley Denning, who is 0 for 2 on deck for the Utes. Hawkeyes down 1-0 in the 4th. Utah with runners at 1st and 3rd. And again, tries to pop that one away. It counts 0-2. And timeout called and granted for Hawkeye pitching coach Mandy Gardner-Colgate. And Brian Levan will come out, have a talk with Skylar Fogg as Coach Gardner, who last year we highlighted on Friday, she shaved the ERA of the Hawkeye pitching staff to 2.46 runs from the previous year. It has a lot of arms available at her disposal. The Hawkeyes have already used 5 different pitchers in their 3 games, in their 4 games here in Clearwater. Let's take a look around that Big Ten scoreboard while we have a moment. Bottom of the 6th in Boca Raton, Michigan State leading FAU 2-0. Top of the 6th in Tampa, Oregon State leading Michigan 1-0. Over near behind us on field number 1, Indiana has the lead. They lead 3-0. Northwestern and Weber State set to get underway in a few moments. Penn State will battle Ohio. Penn State with a huge win, knocking off top 15 Arkansas in Boca Raton. Big win for the Nittany Lions. Iowa looking for their ranked win as well. They'll get the stolen base. Melendez running with 2 strikes, getting herself out of that double play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's no play to be made. It is a 2-0 lead for Utah. They got on a run now. Go to the play. Now they got Melendez in a rundown. Out at second. Great relay by the Hawkeye defense. Adams got it quickly to Bennett. Balin got it to Fogue. And then Fogue went over to Berry for third for the tag. So it goes down as a 1-4-2-5 play. Melendez out trying to go back to third. Dayton scores. Ortiz at second. So 2 outs, runner at second. Here come back to the top of the order in Haley Denning. And I think the Iowa coaching staff wants to have a conversation. Or they're saying that did the ball hit Ortiz's bat, potentially? That might be the only thing that. Oh, are they saying that? I think I heard Ortiz might have been out of the box. Now, that could completely change the outcome of the at bat. And remember, here's the other thing to consider: if Ortiz was out of the box, it was 2 strikes. So if Ortiz is out of the box. So Ortiz was called out of the box, and because it was a 1-2 count, that is strike 3. So Ortiz is out. Dayton has to go back to third. Melendez has to go back to second. What a break for the Hawkeyes in that circumstance. So still second and third. Ortiz called out for being out of the box. That's what our home plate umpire was talking to the Iowa dugout about, what they wanted to do with that play. Strike 1 to Haley Denning. Can Jalen Adams and the Hawkeyes capitalize on this opportunity? Denning with the bunt. Adams, a home. Adams safe at the plate. Adams had it there in front of Skyland Fogue at second in the front of home plate. But she could not hang on to it, and it's 2-0 Utah. So again, second and third, still 2 out. The Utes utilizing the small ball in the running game to get themselves the second run. Aaliyah Velarde at the plate. 0 for 2. Reached on an air in the first. Got to round up a home run on a great individual effort by Riley Moss in the third. Utes up 2-0. But all things considered, it could have been a whole lot more. So the third almost got her. What a throw by Skyland Fogue over at third base. To third is Sujin Berry. This is upstairs, 3-1. You got Julia Jimenez on deck. Adams needs a strike, otherwise there'll be the bases loaded. Ball 4. Bases full of Utes. Julia Jimenez to the plate, 2 out. A pivotal moment in this contest right now. Jimenez fouled out to left and walked. Ball 1. Jimenez last year hit .343, 10 home runs, led the Utes with 52 RBIs. And that one will land on near the walkway between fields 1 and 3. 2 and 3, excuse me. 1-1 to count. Adams the pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Melendez at third, Denning at second, Velarde at first. Jalen Adams trying to keep this a 2-run deficit. Slices foul down the third base side. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Adams trying to strand the bases loaded. Ball gets away, quick ricochet. Schouling gets it over, and she's out at the plate. Ball took a gratuitous bounce. Amy Hogue gonna have a conversation with our home plate umpire. But Adams was right there in time. That ball took a very fortunate bounce right in front of us. And Scotland with the toss to Jalen Adams. I think Coach Hogue was saying that maybe Adams blocked her base pad, but nonetheless, the Hawkeyes catch another break. Utah only scores 1. They leave 2 on base. And let's see if the Hawkeyes can turn that momentum into some runs. 4 complete in Clearwater. Hawkeyes 2, Utes Hawkeyes trail 2-0. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. We go to the top of the 5th. Hawkeyes still with life, trailing 2-0. 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Hawkeyes. Jenna Young, Sammy Diaz, and Skyline Fogue 2 to the plate. Iowa, the beneficiary of 2 key breaks defensively. One with Shelby Ortiz being called for out of the box. And then Alani Melendez trying to score on a wild pitch. Got caught stealing on a great effort by Skyline Fogue and Jalen Adams. That first pitch to the left, and Denning is there, makes the play. 1 pitch, 1 down for the Hawkeye 5th. 2 runs, 6 hits. No errors for the Utes. They have left half a dozen. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for the Hawkeyes. They've only left 1 on base. They've left 2. Here's Sammy Diaz. Diaz gets in front of the barrel, fouls that one over towards Jimenez at third. Lopez with 4 strikeouts this morning. Diaz to right. Hawkeyes are making good contact, but it just ended up being long flyouts as Melendez carries that in, 2 out. And we will see a pinch hitter in the number 8 spot. It'll be Anna Streff. So Streff will make her 2024 debut as a pinch hitter. Streff, a sophomore from Marion, Iowa. Saw action in 33 games last season, hit .205. Had a pinch hit 2-out triple in the 7th to tie their game versus BYU, a game the Hawkeyes will eventually win and claim the NISC championship. This is away, ball 1. And a foul, that one away, evens up the count on the ball and a strike. 2 away in the Hawkeye 5th. Iowa, the visiting team this morning versus the 13th ranked Utes. Number 13 according to the NFCA poll. Bounce it, that goes off the glove of Davidson at short. And Streff keeps the inning alive for the Hawkeyes. So here comes Riley Moss. The shortstop will be charged with the air. So up comes Riley Moss. Moss fouls that one off. Trying to poke that past Jimenez and Davidson over at short. She did that back in the 2nd inning. Scotland fouled out. Scotland was forced out just barely by the fielder's choice. Two nothing Utes, top of the 5th. Hawkeyes again trying to piece together a run. Moss, that one will fall in the shot. Oh, will fall in the infield dirt. Utes were playing in. Moss got enough of it. And the Hawkeyes are in business with 2 on and 2 out. And back to the top of the order we go with Grace Baines. Baines 0 for 2, got robbed of a home run from Dayton back in the 3rd. Grace takes a strike. It's the first time today that the Hawkeyes have had multiple runners on base. And Baines is behind 0-2. Streff at second, Moss at first. 2 down. Mariah Lopez trying to keep this a 2-0 Utah lead. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lopez gets the sign. The 1-2 pitch. Up high, and Baines has evened up the count, 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, 2 on, 2 out. A 2-run deficit for the black and gold of Iowa. 3-2. Tori Bennett on deck. Baines, can she show a great eye one more time against the All-American, Mariah Lopez? And now Paige Parker will make her way in front of the circle from the third base side and chat with Lopez and Lundberg as well. Meeting was short, to the point. Hawkeye fans behind us and to our right, hoping Baines can, at the very least, keep this inning going and set the stage for Tori Bennett. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. She strikes out, and that is the threat. Hawkeyes with the best opportunity with first and second and 2 out, but they cannot get that run across. No runs on 1 hit, 1 error. 2 Hawkeyes left on base. We'll head to the home fifth. Utes 2, Hawkeyes nothing. You're listening to Iowa Softball from Learfield. Back in Clearwater, Florida, Victor Anderson with you. Hawkeyes still trail 2-0 as we go into the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Jimenez, Nielsen, Davison coming to the plate for the Utah Utes. Hawkeyes got a pinch hit single from Anna Streff, and Anna Streff reached on an error, and Riley Moss got a single. Grace Baines worked the count 3-2, but struck out. And the Utes maintained their advantage. Jimenez was at the plate in the 4th. A wild pitch got away from Skyland Frobe, who re-enters the game behind the plate. And Skyland with the quick reflexes and a toss to Jalen Adams to tag out Melendez for the final out of the inning and keep the game a 2-0 Utah lead. Now one heads on, clears over the top of the fence, hit the roof and then into the Utah dugout. Adams today has scattered 5 hits, 2 runs. Swatted one, struck out. Swatted one, struck out 1. High pop up. Sammy Diaz says she hasn't, and she does. Actually, a correction on the scoring from that Utah fourth inning. It was 1 run on 2 hits. There was an error, and 2 runners were left on base in that Utah 4th inning. It's outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Nelson singled and flew out to left. To left. And a sinking line drive and another great catch by Riley Moss. So that's 2 web gem plays for the right fielder, Riley Moss. 2 away, and here comes Davidson to the plate. Riley takes strike 1. She's 0 for 2. Grounded out to end the first. Fouled out back to Skyland Fogg behind the plate to end the third. The 0-1. Chops a bunt, and that one will be an infield. That'll be a beautiful bunt for a base hit. So 2 down, here comes Abby Dayton. Amy Hogue will see a pinch runner at first for the Utes. So it'll be Siani Sakai, the freshman for Omaha, Hawaii, running at first. So 7 Sakai pinch running. Dayton to the plate. Dayton has 2 of the 5 Utah hits this morning, up and in for ball 1. Dayton doubled and scored in the second, singled and scored in the fourth. Trying to extend the Utah lead. Drops a bunt. There he plays, that goes over to first, not in time. Out of the third. That play is saved. Go to the plate. The ball goes wide. The runner scores. Hold on, wait, hold on. The umpire called time. Did the umpire call time? Amy Hogue is upset because I didn't think time was called. But the opening umpire did say they called time. And the Utes are denied a run. Sakai was motoring from third. The Hawkeyes got caught off guard, and Amy Hogue will have a conversation with our first base umpire. Dayton with the lovely bunt single. Barry was a little anxious along that third base line. If she lets that ball roll for maybe a couple more seconds, that ball probably ends up on the outside of the chalk and foul ground. But fortunate, the umpires ruled the play dead. And the Hawkeyes, again, catch another break. So instead of it being 3-0, it is 2-0 first and third for Leilani Melendez. Melendez with the sacrifice and a single. See, it'll put Dayton in motion here. To take that force off from second. She does not go up high for ball 1. Adams has bent but has not been broken so far in these 4 2/3 innings in the circle. And this is inside for a ball. Two balls, no strikes. 2 on, 2 out. Utes up by 2. Popped up again. Schouling tracks it down. And the Hawkeyes get out of the inning. And once again, Adams gives up a couple of hits, but keeps the Utes off the scoreboard. She gives up gives up a pair of two-out bunt base hits, but they leave the runners straight into the corners. We'll head to the sixth. Hawkeyes running out of time, down 2-0. You're listening to Iowa softball from Learfield. Top of the sixth inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4. Due up for the Hawkeyes, Menenberry and Klosterman. The Hawkeye defense, once again, keeping themselves within distance of the 13th ranked team according to the NFCA poll, the Utah Utes. Victor Anderson with you here at the Eddie C. Moore Softball Complex. We're on field number 2 on this Sunday morning. All 5 of the Hawkeyes games this weekend have been on this very field. Hawkeyes are 3-1. Got a low loss, a 1-run loss to Notre Dame with the Fighting Irish got the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Bennett 0 for 2. Struck out and flew out to center. Fouls that one off, makes the count 0-2. Brian Lopez entered today's game with 6 strikeouts total in her 2 appearances comprising of 10 innings. Has 5 strikeouts and 5 innings of work this morning. Bennett to center. Dayton has it. 1 out. And the Hawkeyes are making good contact as they start their 3rd time through against Lopez. Lopez has gotten the better end of those matchups. Davidson re-enters the game. Sakai ran for her in the bottom of the 5th. Sujin Berry, first pitch, that will go on top of the Utah dugout and bound towards the walkway. Some of the Clearwater Bullets serving as volunteers this weekend. Collect and retrieve the foul ball. Sujin shoots that one. That's going to go up the middle. Cut off. Sujin rounds first, and she'll be up at second, sliding with the double. Sujin Berry with the beautiful stroke. That's the first extra base hit of the morning for the Hawkeyes. Continuing a phenomenal opening weekend for the highly touted freshman. Sujin now 7 for 16 this weekend. Here comes Riley Klosterman. Klosterman, first pitch, ground ball. That will get Sujin over to third as Riley grounds out 4-3. So 1 down. And here comes Devin Bowman. Devin 0 for 2. Both of them flyouts. Low ball 1. course, if you were with us on Friday afternoon, it was in this very inning. Coach Gillespie made the move to have Devin pitch hit for Hannah Lindsay, and she rewarded Coach G's efforts with the pinch hit 2-run single. And that one will get off the leg of the second baseman, Velarde, and the Hawkeyes get on the board. And once again in the 6th inning, it's the freshman Devin Bowman doing the job, and the Hawkeyes cut the deficit in half, 2-1. And we will see a pinch hit. We will see a pinch runner for Bowman. It'll be Devin Simon. So Simon will get the pinch running duties. She represents the tying run, the go-ahead run at the plate, and fellow freshman Jenna Young. (2-1) Utah. That's outside, ball 1. And I'll warn another conference from pitching coach Paige Parker. (2-1) Utes, top of the 6th, but the Hawkeyes with their best chance this morning. The official scoring on that Bowman play is an E4 on Velarde. That'll be an unearned run scored by Sujin Berry. Once again, Devin Bowman putting in that work in the late innings for the Hawkeyes. Swing and a miss from Young, 1-1. Hawkeyes are battling and scrapped all morning long. They finally break through against Lopez. Now Lundberg will have a conversation with Lopez real quick, making sure that they're all on the same accord. (2022) Iowa State Gatorade Player of the Year at the plate. And the chance to possibly tie the game or maybe give it a lead with one mighty blow. The 1-1. Took a little bit off speed, makes it 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Coach Gillespie telling the freshman to just relax and stay within yourself in this critical at bat. Lopez gets the sign. Rocks, fires. Little flip, and that's going to go just out front of outstretched glove of Lundberg. Jimenez was there as well. So the count stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Playing umpire, making sure that Lundberg has everything proper and in order after the head first dive and covering her catcher's gear with the Clearwater clay. Another 1-2 pitch coming up to the freshman Young. Low and inside, there goes the runner, throw is just in front of the bag, and Devin Simon has to swipe. And Simon is a base hit away from scoring the tying run for the Hawkeyes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second for the Hawkeyes. Down a run to the 13th ranked Utes. pitch from Lopez. Young fouls that one away, stays alive. That Iowa dugout just pacing and kind of like a pressure cooker and waiting to let out some steam in the form of some celebration and exuberance if Jenny Young can get things going. Lopez deep ref before she sends in the 2-2. Almost caught the front of the jersey, almost caught the side of the jersey, and it's 3-2. The veteran Sammy Diaz lurks on deck for the Hawkeyes. Jen has to be very patient here. Payoff pitch. Breaking ball to right field, and right there on it is Melendez. And Lopez pitches out of the threat, but the Hawkeyes finally get on the board. Sujin Berry with the double, and the Devin Bowman air brings her home. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 air, 1 Hawkeye left. 5.5 complete in Clearwater. Your new score, Utah 2, Iowa 1. You're listening to Hawkeye Softball from Learfield. Bottom of the 6. Skylar Adams and Skylar Hogue and Jalen Adams go back to work as the Hawkeyes now trail 2-1. Utah trying to add some insurance. They'll have Lundberg, Ortiz, and Denning 8-9-1 due up. Victor Anderson back with you from Clearwater, Florida. An inauspicious start to the inning as Lundberg gets hit from the first Jalen Adams offering. So Lundberg gets plunked on the first pitch to start the 6th. We'll see Haley White run at first. So here comes Ortiz, and then you got Denning and Bellardi behind her. Corner infielder in. Diaz gets it to Bennett. Sacrifice works for Utah. Moves White in scoring position. And here comes Haley Denning back to the top of the Utah order. Denning 0 for 3, reached on the fielder's choice back in the 4th. Slaps that one, that's gonna go up the middle past the draw in infield. They will bring White around, she will score, throw gets cut off. Denning slides in safely into second. The Utes get the run back on the RBI single from Haley Denning. They put their lead back to 2. It is 3-1 Utah. She hits that one over to Adams. Gets over to second for out number 1. It's out number 2. Denning has to stay at second base. 2 down, here comes Julia Jimenez. Jimenez 0 for 2 with the walk this morning. Now the in ball, one runner goes. Throw the third, going to get wide, and fortunate that Jenna Young was there to cut off that throw from Skyline Pogue. Otherwise, Denning would have scored. Outside 2-0. Iowa will have up in their 7th inning, the bottom third of the order. Diaz, Fogue, and Moss. Menace got a pitch she can handle, but fouls that back towards Coach Amy Hogue on third, way outside the third base box. Two down in the home 6. Hughes picked up a big insurance run on a Haley Denning RBI single. She stands at third with her team up by 2. Three and one. Hard shot right at the chest, but Young feels it like the vet. Now she's playing and gets to the first in the inning. But the Utes picked up the run back they gave up in the top of the inning on the RBI single from Haley Denning. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors, 1 Ute left on base. Hawkeyes down to the final 3 outs. They trail 3-1. This is Iowa softball from Learfield. We'll have a couple other defensive changes as well for the Utes. Now in the game and playing right field for Utah will be number 22, Reese Lee. She'll be taking over in right field for Melendez. Lundberg will re-enter the game to catch. So the new Utah outfield will be Denning, Dayton, and Lee from left to right. Infield remains the same with Ortiz, Velarde, Davison, and Jimenez. Lundberg will do the catching for the new pitcher, Sarah Ladd. Another left-hander for Coach Amy Hogue and Paige Parker to utilize. Diaz, Fogue, and Moss, 7, 8, 9 coming up for the Hawkeyes. Need 2 to keep things going here at Clearwater. Takes that for a strike, does Sammy, 0-1. Final line this morning for Mariah Lopez. She goes 6 innings, 3 hits, an unearned run, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 85 pitches, 59 strikes. And if Black can hold up and pick up the final 3 outs, Lopez will pick up her 2nd win on the season. The Hawkeyes, you know, will not make it easy. Wind starting to pick up blowing in as Sammy Diaz starts the 7th with the single back up the middle. So Sammy, after an 0 for 2 start to the day, has her first base hit on this Super Sunday. And we will see another pinch hitter in the number 8 spot in the order. We'll still see a pinch hitter and a pinch runner for Coach Gillespie. It'll be Avery Jackson. I'll be pinch running at first. It'll be Maya Clark pinch hitting in the 8th spot. Clark, who usually wears number 3, wearing number 18 of the gray uniforms today for the Hawkeyes. Clark takes strike 1. That tail's low and outside, evens up the count 1-1. Clark from Ardmore, Alabama, a standout in Athens High School, where she was a Class 4A Player of the Year, was the number 41 ranked player, the extra inning softball Elite 100 rankings list. Clark bounces that right in front of Coach Gillespie, and Jimenez had to cut in front to get that foul ball, makes it 1-2. Utes 3, Hawkeyes 1. 8th all-time meeting between these two programs. Utes with the 4-3 series lead. The 1-2. Good looking pitch from Ladd, but it's ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes to the freshman, Maya Clark. I caught that low, Jimenez, and don't get the double play. That ball hung in the air too long. Jimenez gets the play and throws it over to double off the pinch runner, Avery Jackson. And the Hawkeyes, just like quickly, are down to their final out. It'll be up to Riley Moss. Try and keep things going for the Hawkeyes. Moss has reached twice. She's 1 for 2. Moss taps that and fouls it right in the on-deck circle for Utah. Utes up 3-1, top of the 7th. Utah trying to start their season 4-1 off a Women's College World Series appearance a year ago. One ball, 1 strike. Utes will make the trip down way south of the border to Mexico for the Puerto Vallarta Challenge. That starts their session on Thursday. Moss takes the ball up and outside, 2-1. Hawkeyes they'll have their second of 3 weeks in the Sunshine State in the spring games. Their action will start on Friday as they take on a very dangerous Southern Illinois team in the Liberty Flames. Liberty playing across the reverse in 303 versus Notre Dame. Popped up, Jimenez is there, she makes the catch, and that ends the ball game. Hawkeyes give a valiant effort, had a chance in the top of the 7th, but the double play started by Jimenez. Well, at the beginning of the end, Mariah Lopez with the first 6 innings, and Sarah Ladd shuts the door in the 7th, and Utah picks up the victory by the score of 3-1. For the Utes, 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. They leave 9. For Iowa, 1 run, 4 hits, 2 errors. They strand 5. Mariah Lopez picks up the win. She improves to 2-1 of the season. Jalen Adams tagged with the loss. She goes to 1-1. Sarah Ladd picks up the save, her first of 2024. Utes improve to 4-1 in the young season. Your Hawkeyes fall to 3-2. Both losses, very valiant efforts, as both teams finish shaking hands, and Coach Gillespie catching up with some of their particulars there. And Amy Hogue and Coach Gillespie share a hug with Coach Andy Gardner as well. So the Hawkeyes will regroup and get ready for their next week of action in the spring games in Leesburg, Florida. We hope that you'll be joining us for the coverage of the 5